the ashes to school the masses. Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of the Scholars of Wrestling Show. I'm your man behind the microphone, Scholar Jeff. To my left is Scholar Brian. What's up, sir?
Hi. I gotta say, okay, I was in a bad state of mind last week. I'm
no
a little
kidding.
bit. I'm a little bit better. Okay, but still not much happening on this air quotes road to WrestleMania. I'm still not feeling it.
We still have some time, but first we need to cover the week that was leading up to WWE Fastlane and all the happenings thereof.
Sounds like a plan.
Oh yes. Now you may be wondering to yourself, say, Scholar Jeff, there's a voice missing from your usual lineup. What could that be? Well,
Scholar Tarek has taken his victory from the Fastlane prediction show into about, what do you say, a month and a half?
About a month.
About a month-long hiatus.
Yes, it was a little bit of an unusual occurrence when he approached us and say, "Hey, gents, I am about to take about a month or so off from recording the Scholars of Wrestling show."
While taunting us about how good he is as a champion of Scholars of Wrestling.
And us, being the astute scholars that we are, completely toned out all of those boasts and said, "Say, why on earth would you be taking a month off? What possible good reason could there be?" And he said, "Well, the birth of my second child, that's what." To which we replied, "Okay, that's a good explanation."
That's a very good explanation.
That's a good reason if ever I heard one. So, in all seriousness, congratulations to Scholar Tarek on the birth of his second child, little Logan. Logan, welcome to the world.
Indeed. And because of your grand welcome, I will refrain from making comments about our esteemed champion for the next... while he's not here. That's not good sportsmanship, and I won't have it. So you've earned yourself a month.
You have been granted a reprieve of 1 week for Scholar Tarek, so...
A week? Damn. I said a month, but if Jeff is
okay.
But if Jeff is going for if Jeff is only saying a week, all right. Gloves are off after this week.
Either way, congratulations to Scholar Tarek and his family. Enjoy your time, and we'll see you when you get back, hopefully over WrestleMania.
Indeed. Congratulations, and we're very happy for you.
Indeed. But speaking of, we still have a show to do. The show must go on. So, in that happy spirit, let's kick things off with the way we always need to kick things off on this show, with a little bit of Backstage news.
I'm not Tarek. I don't do the other thing, but I will say it's Fastlane. Mediocre man.
No, we have to do this right. We need to check in on a little
Backstage news. Mediocre Fastlane man.
Yeah, Fastlane may have been mediocre overall, but you know what is not mediocre? The recent announcement that just happened just today, as of the day of this recording, that WrestleMania 35 in April of 2019 will be in our neck of the woods. New Jersey, MetLife Stadium. It's coming, baby.
They're going to try it again, hopefully with a better card than last time. And hopefully with a better card than what we're getting this year.
You know what?
But you know what? Okay? It's MetLife Stadium. It's WrestleMania in... I'll say it. In New Jersey. Not in New York.
Hey.
It's... So... You got your hometown pride.
Mm-hmm.
You always hope that they're going to give you something that is going to be something special. Okay? We're not going to have Rock versus Cena Volume 2. Okay? We're not going to have Triple H versus Brock Lesnar. Thank God Brock Lesnar will be gone.
Mm-hmm.
But the announcement is made. The hope is there. let's get it on. That's kind
of... I think it's safe to say that, if we can all get, assuming that we can all get tickets for this sucker, that we're all going. Is that correct? Is that a fair thing to say?
Oh yeah, definitely. That is the hope. The tickets are gonna cost an arm and a leg, but it's WrestleMania.
But what?
It's WrestleMania. If you can afford it, we're the scholars of wrestling. If we can afford it, we'll be there.
Yeah, considering that I don't know about you, but I haven't been to a live wrestling show in a very, very long time.
I haven't been to a wrestling show since We'll See.
Wow, that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
But either way,
we talk a big game about going to these shows, but just things aren't there for us to be able to go. So, but this is WrestleMania, baby. Woo!
There's bound to be even if a fraction of the matches are worthwhile, it's still a very long day of wrestling. There's bound to be something that's going to come up.
Indeed.
And really, if the past couple WrestleManias are any indication, even if it is a very long day, one thing that they've shown me personally is that they really know how to pace a WrestleMania properly. Even though it's a long day, a long WrestleMania, whatever you want to quantify it as, they're getting better at the pacing, I've noticed.
Yeah, especially last year.
Mm-hmm.
Last year went by pretty quickly. But the year before that was god-awful.
Yeah, that's...
But The Undertaker, Shane McMahon, Roman Reigns versus Triple H, I don't know whether it was the matches or they hadn't quite figured it out yet, but it was just a bore to sit through. But last year they started getting it right, at least with the first half of the show, up until about Lesnar Goldberg. Then it started, but yeah, let's hope this year continues the trend of trying to get the 6-hour show correct. Whether the matches are good or not, at least give me a good pace so that I'm not falling asleep by the main event, whatever that may be.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that, again, no matter what, it should be, the spectacle should be there.
Yeah.
And if we can get the tickets, I'm sure the Scholars of Wrestling will strive to be there. But in the meantime, we still need to look forward to this Monday night on Raw, where apparently it was revealed that the Ultimate Deletion match is going to be on Raw, not WrestleMania. What do you make of this?
It's probably smart, because the last thing you want is what is it, 70,000 people? 60, 70,000 people?
Something a lot.
60 to 70,000 people staring at a screen. Like, Ultimate Deletion is all well and good for a TNA broadcast, because there's like 500 people maybe in the crowd, so they're willing to sit, and it's a universal, so they're staring at screens all day anyway while they're in the park waiting to go into the show, so they're used to it. But when you're at WrestleMania, you expect entertainment in your face.
Live wrestling.
Wrestling. You don't expect... As much as I love the idea of a Bray Wyatt versus Matt Hardy, like a TV show on its own, the Ultimate Deletion match, I love the idea. I don't think it would work on a pay-per-view scale, because they tried that already with Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton in a different kind of thing, and look how well that went over with the WWE crowd. Bray Wyatt still hasn't recovered. So doing it on Raw is probably smart. And also, as much as we love broken Matt Hardy, woken Matt Hardy, I don't exactly love what they're doing with him in the WWE. With the character, but the WWE crowd, the universe, hasn't taken to it the way that they wanted to. So doing it on Raw is probably the smartest thing that they could possibly do. And it leaves time to get something together for them for WrestleMania if they're not just going to throw them in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
Agreed. This is one of those things where at first I was a little peeved or confused rather, but the more I think about it, the more this kind of makes sense. Not only are you right on the fact that, you know what, it probably wouldn't work in a pay-per-view WrestleMania live stadium kind of context, but this match, if done properly, can really carry over the hype and the enthusiasm for the whole Broken Woken universe thing to be carried over into WWE. And then, like you said, you can set up for some sort of WrestleMania match with the entirety of House Hardy at WrestleMania.
Because you also have the thing where, remember the first, what did they call it? Did they call it the Ultimate Deletion in TNA?
They called it the Final Deletion.
Okay, so the first they had two Final Deletions in TNA. The first one is what broke Brother Nero. Okay, brought him into the fold. What if this is? I'm bringing in Scarlett Tarrick's idea on this one. What if this is a thing where they delete the Eater of Worlds and Bray Wyatt joins House Hardy?
That would be very interesting.
I mean, I don't think that works if you set it up if you blow it off at a pay-per-view. But if you do it at Raw, you can basically do anything at this point to lead into the next chapter of whatever House Hardy might have. Because if Bray Wyatt just straight up loses and falls into the ether, he's done. He's out. There's nothing left. So it actually works with the characters. With the characters they have, okay, it's actually a pretty good idea for them to work together. When you really think about it.
Oh yeah, Bray Wyatt and Broken Matt, they work. That is a great pairing.
Exactly. So it's like, and the Final Deletion Part 1 of TNA is they broke Jeff Hardy enough for him to join the fold. What if this is the WWE version of it? Especially with what happened, especially with Jeff Hardy's arrest for the DUI.
Need an extra Brother Nero.
What if this now they actually have a reason to have Bray Wyatt join, right? Because I don't know what you do with Jeff Hardy at this point. I mean, I realize that they signed him to a new contract, and that probably takes his 2 strikes off. But a DUI, do they count that as a 3rd strike and let him go, or do they?
If anything, I honestly think that this sort of, if they're gonna punish him, they're not gonna give him a singles push. They'll give him the whole obsolete mule Brother Nero thing. They'll just be like, he'll fade away and classify himself as obsolete.
Yeah, and Bray Wyatt will take his place. And
there you go.
But I mean, it's logical storytelling. Okay, this is the WWE we're talking about, so
cynicism rules.
Cynicism rules, but the logical story point here is to have them team up and be like an entire weird faction thing, and then because Braun Strowman said he wants to feud with Bray Wyatt. Braun Strowman wins the tag team titles by himself at WrestleMania. There you go. There you go.
Okay, now I think you just got me on board through sheer hype. That is a match I want to see. Braun Strowman in a handicap match versus Broken Bray Wyatt and Broken Matt.
Yes, Broken Bray and Broken Matt. Yes.
Make it happen, WWE.
Yes.
But first things first, of course, we need to get through WrestleMania, and of course, we need to cover this past pay-per-view that just occurred. We're talking about WWE Fastlane, the pay-per-view that was. So let's get right into it, starting with the kickoff match with Breezango and Ty Dillinger defeating Mojo Rawley and Shelton Gable.
Gable, huh?
Shelton Gable, yes.
I guess we could call them that. I mean,
it's officially Scholars of Wrestling canon now. Shelton Gable.
Shelton Gable. It's not like they matter anymore, anyway.
Still, I thought this match did its job. It was a good match for what it was. It was the appetizer match. I'll use that word.
It was a standard kickoff show match. Okay, and the fact it doesn't really matter at this point because none of these guys are getting TV time at all. So I can't say whether the result of the match is good or bad for anybody because they're all in bad positions right now. And Mojo, you had some momentum, man, after Zack Ryder, but now you got nothing. You lost Ty Dillinger. Okay, I'm sorry to say it, okay, but these 6 guys really mean nothing in the main scheme of things right now. So this was really to get them a paycheck. Mojo Rawley was botching all over the place, but
that ain't hype.
It was what it was. It was a standard pre-show match. Did I enjoy it? Not really. Did I hate it? No. It was there. It was something on the screen. So there you go.
It was enough to whet the appetite. It was passable for what it was.
It was perfectly acceptable wrestling, and I got to make fun of Mojo Rawley, so that's always a plus.
Now you're thinking positive.
Yeah. And the people I was watching it with were disgusted by Tyler Breeze, so that was fun.
Oh, was it delight?
They're not very big fans and think Breezango is stupid. I was watching with casuals.
Well, you can't win them all.
So it as always, okay. As much as I love watching with my wrestling smarks and the people that I talk wrestling with all the time, it's always fun to get a casual's perspective on things.
Fair enough.
And they thought this match was dumb. And they don't like Breezango. But they did laugh when he got on, when Gable was on his knees in the wrestling position and Tyler Breeze didn't know what to do, so he started riding him like a...
What are you doing?
What are you doing? That was fun.
What are you doing?
That was fun. But that's what I can say about this match. It was a fun little thing.
It sure was a thing.
Yeah. It was a thing. It was their standard pre-show match. Let's get on to the
standard operating procedure. Yes, let's move on to the actual show this time. Talking about Shinsuke Nakamura going over Rusev in a match that I think we all saw the result of coming.
First of all, Aiden English has his voice back. Glorious day!
Oh boy.
Glorious Rusev day. Second of all, we knew what this match was about.
Mm-hmm.
It was about giving Shinsuke Nakamura something to do. Okay. While giving Rusev a chance to show that he could hang. We all know that Rusev can hang. But the WWE always wants more proof. And this match gave them plenty. Okay, because one thing about Shinsuke, whether you like him, whether you've liked his run in the WWE so far or not, he's made his opponents look like gold.
Mm-hmm.
Or tried to, in the case of Jinder Mahal.
Well, there's only so much one mortal man can do.
Yes. And he made Rusev look like a beast in this match. It was very good. both guys looked really good. There were a couple times where I believed that Rusev could actually win. And even though we knew that he wasn't going to, if you can make me believe there's a chance in a match where I thought going in that Nakamura was 100% winning, if you make me feel like there's a shot that the other guy can win, you've done your job.
And that pretty much sums it up, and my experience watching the match too. That was one of those cases where we all knew going in who was going to win, or at least who was supposed to win, in all likelihood. But when I was watching the match, they instilled the slightest bit of doubt in me. Like, Rusev could actually possibly pull this out. And then, of course, when he came back and did it, it helped me enjoy the entire ride that much more. So, kudos to you boys.
The ending was great. It also helped that the crowd was so into it. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, whoever they were cheering for. But it was nice to see. Like, once again, coming into the show, I knew that there was every shot that the wrestling in this show was going to be good. Mm-hmm. Okay, I just didn't see how it was going to get us anywhere in the build-up to Fastlane. Okay, some things happen later on in the show that we'll talk about, but as for the wrestling, this match did what it was supposed to do, and that's the highest praise I can give it.
Yeah, this one definitely delivered a little bit more than I was expecting, honestly, and that's coming from someone who loves Nakamura. But yeah, it gives this one honestly gives me a lot of hope for both guys going forward.
And have you seen what Rusev's doing on social media with the challenging celebrities to come in and face him? He's gotten 2 acceptances and 1. That guy's scary. Stop pulling my name out. Stephen Amell said, "Stop putting my name into consideration. That guy scares me."
That, and apparently I had a bunch of my friends retweeting Macaulay Culkin of his challenge.
Macaulay Culkin accepted the challenge. Rusev said, "I'm not gonna hit Kevin McAllister or Richie Rich," and Macaulay Culkin, in possibly the greatest comeback ever, said, "It's all right. I was gonna be doing all the hitting anyway." I'm like, damn. Macaulay Culkin can trash talk.
Shots fired, Kevin McAllister.
And also the dude from Pitch Perfect, Skylar Astin.
Yeah, I've never seen any of those movies.
Well, he accepted the challenge, and Rusev said, "Aiden English can sing better than you.
Oh, snap.
Lana can dance better than you. And I can moshka."
Oh, man. Rusev, I hope whatever happens to you, Rusev, I hope you get something good at WrestleMania.
Rusev is a national treasure on social media. That's all I gotta say.
The Bulgarian Brute is an American national treasure.
Yes.
There, I said it. But anyway, speaking of national treasures, let's move on to what I personally consider to be the biggest surprise of the night. And that is Randy Orton defeating Bobby Roode to become the new United States champion. Remind me, did you predict...
I predicted that Bobby Roode would retain because of Jinder Mahal's shenanigans. This was basically the match that gave Scarlett Tarek the win. Mm-hmm. Okay. Which, kudos. Kudos. You're gone, so I'm going to be nice. Kudos.
If we must.
It's not like it matters because it's Fastlane. It's a nothing pay-per-view, but hey. Take whatever win you can because WrestleMania is coming soon.
Oh, yes, it is.
But, first of all, I thought this match went on a little too long. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I'm not going to say it was a surprising result because in a match with Randy Orton in it, you can never count him out. Mm-hmm. Okay, there's always a shot he'll win. Okay, when you choose the winner of a Randy Orton match to not be Randy Orton, you go in knowing the fact that you will probably lose that prediction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so was I surprised? No. I thought they would wait till WrestleMania to give him the shining moment. Okay, but now there's hope that Bobby Roode can get a WrestleMania moment.
Yeah,
and win the title back.
Yeah, that's the one thing I'm really kind of curious about now. What they're going to do with Bobby Roode. Because at this point, he needs to be there. He's going to do something. It's just a matter of...
I'm pretty sure with what happened after the match, it's going to be a triple threat.
Yeah.
For the United States title. Randy Orton face, Bobby Roode tweener, and Jinder Mahal heel. But as I said, this was pretty good. Okay, there were no discernible botches or anything like that. I just think the problem with this show was that they didn't have enough for me to fill a 3-hour broadcast. Therefore, every match went a little bit longer than it probably should have.
I can definitely see that.
Okay, and this was a plain example of it. Okay, this went about 5 minutes too long. I started getting bored at the end of it. And, yeah, far from bad. A Randy Orton match, other than that Punjabi prison bullshit, is rarely bad. He rarely has a just flat out bad match. This one just never got me invested because this match needed to be about 15 minutes long. It went 20. And that takes some points off. I started getting bored at the end. And then it's like, oh, Bobby Roode goes up to the second rope. Oh, I know what's coming now. So that's it. So
guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah, this...
When are people going to learn you don't climb the ropes after about 10 minutes into a match? You climb the ropes after 10 minutes, you're getting an RKO off the rope.
Hey, to be fair, he is a relative newbie in the world of WWE, so maybe he'll learn his lesson at WrestleMania? Maybe?
It's possible. Or Jinder Mahal will take it.
A far more likely and a far more delightful scenario.
Jinder Mahal takes it. Bobby Roode kicks Randy Orton out of the ring, steals the pin. Then we have going into a heel turn Bobby Roode because Bobby Roode is better as a heel.
That's acceptable to me.
Everybody knows this.
Speaking of heels, moving on to our next match, we've got the team of Natalya and Carmella defeating Becky Lynch and Naomi, which logically made perfect sense.
I'm not saying that it didn't make sense, but that closing, that ending was messy as hell, man. That was bad. I mean, it was fine for like the first 5 minutes. It was fine, and then it kind of got slow and plodding for 2, and then the last minute was just god awful. It was bad, man.
Yeah, this is one of those matches where I honestly don't remember too much about it for whatever weird reason. I can't explain why.
You don't remember a lot except the ending where every move was botched. All of it. The last minute and a half of the match was basically botch after botch after botch after botch. And this is a match that contains Becky Lynch and Natalya. Okay, so when everybody's botching, it's something to see. I'll tell you that. Woof.
Yeah, granted, the whole booking scene seemed to portray this whole show as just really an afterthought. But this, to me, is the kind of match that really just sort of reflected that same spirit. It was not good.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say that it was horrible, but all four of these ladies can do so much better. Yes, I'm including Carmella in that.
Hey, in all seriousness, I'm seriously enjoying the level of improvement that Carmella is showing. She's way better than when she was.
Compared to when she first entered the actual WWE, like SmackDown, leaps and bounds. The character is better. The wrestling is markedly improved. It just didn't happen. Mm-hmm. There are some nights where it just doesn't work. Okay, and this happened to be one of them.
Yeah, it happens to everybody. You know, when you've got the opportunity for the women to compete like the men, yeah, that's also subject to the same type of flaws and shortcomings that anyone will.
The men have off days, the women have off days. And I love Becky Lynch, but she had an off day. Yeah. I like Natalya Styles. She had an off day. Naomi is Botch Queen, and she had an off day. Yeah. And Carmella has improved in leaps and bounds since he came in, but she had an off day. Mm. It'll happen, and the lead up to WrestleMania, okay, everybody has their off days, everybody has their on days. The lead up to WrestleMania could be great for the women's division in SmackDown, especially with what happened later on. But as for that show, no.
Quite. That's our way of saying, it's okay, ladies, we still love you. But in the meantime, we also have another tag team match for tonight. We've got the Usos defeating the New Day by disqualification. Why disqualification? Because
the Bludgeon Brothers came out and bludgeoned. That's it.
Bludgeon Brothers gonna bludgeon?
That's my new thing, because they went, the people I was with, okay, they went out to smoke a cigarette, and I knew what was coming because we were a little behind. Mm-hmm. And people started freaking out on Twitter, including Scholar Jeff and Scholar Tarek,
as we have a tendency to do.
About what was going on. So I paused the feed as they were going out, and they were like, "No, play it," and I was like, "No. Trust me, I've heard good things." Okay, and they're not really a fan of the Bludgeon Brothers, mostly because of the get-up, and they think the whole coming down with bludgeons is stupid. But I was like, just wait for it. I think you'll get on board with what happens here. And trust me, by the end of this segment, they were fully on board with the Bludgeon Brothers. Mm-hmm. Because, as I've said so far in this review, Bludgeon Brothers are gonna bludgeon. And yes, they did. Completely. Every superstar in this match at the beginning of it were dead by the end of it.
And you know what? If their goal was to show up, make an impact, make a name for themselves, then guess what? You boys did it. It worked.
I'm like, this is what the Bludgeon Brothers need to do. Okay? No cutting promos. The Bludgeon Brothers don't need to cut a promo.
They just need to bludgeon.
They need to do what they did last night. What they did at Fastlane. And just come out. Okay. Kill the opposition. I love the fact that they actually used the bludgeons. Mm-hmm. That's cool. Or what was it? Hammers? What do they got?
Well, technically, I guess hammers can be bludgeons.
Yeah. They... Like... Everything they did, you could feel it through the screen. I'm like, I don't know if all the things they did were as stiff as they looked, but it actually looked like Xavier Woods' head snapped off of the steel steps. It actually looked like they murdered him. and and they left everybody in a heap, like not moving, and then just walked out like nothing happened. I'm like, that is exactly what they need to do on a regular basis for me to stay invested in them. This is their niche. Okay, we don't need any weird Luke Harper, Eric Rowan promos. Come out, annihilate your opposition, leave.
Yes, and just to clarify, dictionary.com, the definition of bludgeon. Noun, a short, heavy club with one end weighted to, or thicker or an end heavier than the other, aka a giant hammer. Or as a verb, definition 1, to strike or knock down with a bludgeon. Or 2, to force into something, coerce, or bully.
Well, they certainly did that.
Yes, they did.
And now they basically got themselves a tag team title match at WrestleMania for it.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna happen. And the match leading up to it was standard New Day, Usos fair. It was good.
Yeah. Then again, there's not much these two could do anyway.
I'm not going to say it was great because we were all waiting for something to happen.
And we got it.
We got it in a big way, and that's what made this match memorable. Mm-hmm. This is the Bludgeon Brothers coming out party right here. This got the casual fans I was with invested in them all the way because they were staring at the screen in awe as the massacre was happening. And they legit thought Xavier Woods was seizuring and dead on top of the steel steps. Yeah, they were like, they did something wrong because that's not right. I'm like, no, Xavier Woods is a good actor. No, he's hurt. No, he might have a headache when he gets to the back, but he'll get off that stretcher.
Oh, either way, congratulations to you, gentlemen. You got us all. You gave us what we wanted to see.
I can honestly say, like, from this pay-per-view, that's the one thing I will remember. That's
honestly, you're right.
This pay-per-view was basically paint by numbers. Really, when you think about it, there's two things that I'm gonna remember, and the Bludgeon Brothers just coming out and killing everybody is one of them. Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking of memorable moments, let's move on to the next match in the card, which contains another one of my memorable moments. We've got Charlotte Flair defeating Ruby Riott. And then after the match, we had Asuka come out and officially announce her formal challenge for the title at WrestleMania.
The problem I had with this match in the beginning was that they had killed the Riott Squad enough for me that I didn't believe that Ruby Riott deserved a title shot from what they had shown us since the debut, if you get me.
I can see that.
Watching this match, okay, Ruby Riott looks like she deserves the title shot and more. Okay, this was really good.
Oh, yeah.
It was. Okay. The problem is you knew what the finish was going to be. You knew that Ruby Riott wasn't going to win. Mm-hmm. Okay, as much as someone was saying maybe otherwise in the prediction show, mm-hmm. Mr. Optimism over here was saying maybe. No, everybody knew going in that Charlotte was not losing, especially because we had a feeling what was coming after the match. But for the match itself, okay, first of all, the finish was overbooked. Mm-hmm. Okay, I don't think they needed Becky Lynch, Naomi, the rest of the Riott Squad out there. It made the end of the match kind of meh. Okay, everything before everybody came out was great. And it was just something to show the Riott Squad trying to be dicks, trying to be bitches, and whatever, trying to get that over, and it really took away from the match. I think everything else was good, okay, and Charlotte won as expected, and then what happened afterwards was awesome.
Yeah, again, what you're right on spot when you're talking about this show coming across as very paint by numbers. But when it comes together like it did for Asuka and coming out and actually announcing her intention and challenge for the title, we knew that was going to happen, but the execution, that's what we wanted to see. The execution worked.
It's the whole thing. We knew that the match was filler. It was a filler championship match to get to the meat and potatoes of what's coming at WrestleMania. Therefore, it kind of took the wind out of its sails a little bit, knowing that in the match with Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura, we had a good feeling that Nakamura was going to win. But they made us believe that Rusev had a shot during the match. I never felt that in this match. Charlotte, it was never in doubt for me. There was never that moment where I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, although I do have to say, I'm still a big fan of Ruby Riott. The sky's the limit with her.
With her showing in this match, I wouldn't be surprised if she gets the title soon after they scrap that whole Riot Squad thing. I don't want the other two anywhere near it. I think the Ruby Riott deserves a shot on her own.
Totally agreed. Unfortunately,
as she's shackled with this storyline, I don't want to see her anywhere near the title picture again until this shit's over.
That makes two of us.
Yeah, but as I said, it's the salad before the meat and potatoes. The salad was good, but now we're getting the real meal.
Now we're getting the main course. And speaking of main course, we've got our main event of the evening. AJ Styles wins the six-pack challenge, as we expected. So now it's official. It's Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. Oh joy.
This was another quotable match for me. Because now whenever Baron Corbin is attacking somebody outside the ring, I'm going to be like, there's going to be a murder! Because as he's running through the crowd after Dolph Ziggler, and just before he takes him through the, the plexiglass barricade over there, I was like, he's just kind of staring at Dolph Ziggler, and I'm like, there's going to be a murder. And right after that, he runs him through the plexiglass. And I was like, oh, look, there was a murder.
Oh, boy.
And I'm like, Baron Corbin is at his best in multi-man matches. Have you noticed that?
You know what? I have not noticed it until this day.
Because there's never a multi-man match that he's in that is bad. There's plenty of singles matches that he's in that aren't up to snuff. But when he's a piece of the puzzle and not the main pie,
it works.
It works.
It really does.
And that's basically the story of this match. This was basically a vehicle to set up WrestleMania. Okay.
Absolutely.
Except for Baron Corbin. Actually, there might be something there between Baron Corbin and Dolph Ziggler. With the murder and such.
With the murder and such. There might be something there, with the murder and such.
Yeah. But you've got the John Cena losing and technically not having not having a match at WrestleMania, so he calls out Taker, as he's wont to do.
Oh boy, I'm I'll go into that at another time how I feel about that, but that's
not fun.
Yeah,
That's it. Don't want it.
I'll save that rant for a future episode.
Yeah, but as for now, 3 words: don't want it.
Do not want.
Yeah. But the look on his face afterwards, sitting in the corner, all dejected with himself, fucking cold, man. That's it. Okay,
It worked for me.
You had the whole continuation of the Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Shane McMahon story that will hopefully finally finish up at WrestleMania, whatever they do with the 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking about either Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens or a triple threat match with Daniel Bryan as a guest referee. So, you never know. Okay, but somehow this shit's got to end at WrestleMania, because it's another one of those where they struck when the iron was hot with Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon at Hell in a Cell.
That they did.
Okay, and what is it, 6 months later now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it's been on and off since then, but more off. So you forgot about it, and now it's kind of lukewarm at best. What they're doing going in. Okay, I did like the welt on Shane McMahon's face from the super kick. That was fun. Knowing that it actually connected. Knowing that it actually connected flush, and he didn't just fling himself back into the barricade like he normally does. That's fun to see, and I'll tell you what, AJ Styles really didn't do that much in this match. When you think about it.
Well,
when you really think about it. Okay.
I'm assuming they want to protect him and keep him in
fresh.
Good shape for WrestleMania.
Yeah, but when you think about it, this match was really good, and a lot of it is not on the strength of AJ Styles, because they had him out for most of the match.
Yeah, the more I think about it, the more this really reeks of what New Japan will do with some of their off shows. They'll put some of their biggest names in multi-man tag matches just so they have a spot in the card that people can see them, but they're still not all putting in a lot of work individually. So that they get, even though they're on the show and they're technically working, they're still getting relatively rested up.
But this match was basically exactly what it needed to be. Organized chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And when organized chaos is done correctly, you get a pretty enjoyable main event. Even though, let's face it, we all knew, once again, the stigma of the show, we all knew what was coming at the end of it.
Absolutely.
Okay, but as Tarek said last week, it's the journey. Okay, and the journey in this match was pretty freaking enjoyable to watch.
That indeed it was.
Carnage, murder, Shane McMahon getting kicked in the forehead and actually having damage. Legit damage, not from flinging himself back into the barricade, which is the norm. Okay, you got Sami Zayn's facial expressions. Those are always fun. And you get, everybody had their moment to shine. Everybody busted their ass for the moments that they had, and turned out to be enjoyable to watch. I'd say match of the night. Mostly because I was invested in the whole thing, and that was few and far between to come by. And it was fun.
So all that being said, what would you give this WWE Fastlane 2018 as a whole? What ratings go would you give?
I can't give it any more than a goatee.
Classic goatee, 3 out of 5?
Classic goatee, 3 out of 5. Because, as I said, it's one of those, the wrestling, mostly good. Nothing great. Mostly good. You had that minute and a half at the end of the ladies' match that was like, no, don't want. But other than that, nothing that actively made me turn away from the TV. Okay? But I can't get away from the fact that this was paint by numbers fair. You knew what was going to happen most of the time going in. And even when we predicted somebody else in one of the matches, there was always the thought in the back of the mind that Randy Orton was going to pull it out. Because out of nowhere, when you have a move that comes out of nowhere, it's a very good shot you're going to win no matter who we pick. Mm-hmm. So, really, there were no surprises.
Yeah, for this one, I honestly have to give this a 2 out of 5. Just a peach fuzz. I don't know, something about this, because of the way it was executed and what my expectations were, there were a lot of times that I was just kind of bored with this. Like, sure, it's wrestling. Sure, there were still plenty of good things to see. But compared to where we're at right then, based off of where we're going to be next month, this just fell pretty flat for me, barring a couple of high points. So
I'll give you this. Okay, as I said at the beginning of the show. Okay, I'm still not invested in the road to WrestleMania. Okay, you had the 2 moments in this show that built up for further WrestleMania build-up. We basically got 2 matches added, even if one of them isn't official yet. Mm-hmm. And we know that another one's going to be coming. We know that 2 more are coming out of the main event with whatever Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Shane McMahon are doing, and the possible don't want of Cena versus Taker. But there's just something about this road to WrestleMania that it's not grabbing me. Okay, and I'm getting a distinct, once again, which one was Shane versus Taker? Was it 33?
That was, I think 32? That was 32, yes.
Yeah, I'm getting a distinct WrestleMania 32 feel here, and we ranked 32 as the worst pay-per-view of that year, and I'm really hoping that we're not heading for another bad WrestleMania, because I'm just not feeling any of what they're hitting me with right now. It's even hard for me to get into Styles versus Nakamura at this point. I don't know why, but I don't know if it's whether everything else is just not grabbing me enough to bring down the excitement factor for that match. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or whether it's they had the stupid build up to the last pay-per-view where they weren't building up Styles versus Nakamura. It goes back to what I was saying last week. I think that they should cut out the in-between between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. I think that the 2 the February and the pay-per-views in between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania are superfluous. They don't matter, and they're not needed because they break up the flow. Okay, they should have been building up Shinsuke versus AJ since Shinsuke won the Royal Rumble. They took about 3 weeks off to build up this 6-man, and now it's hard to get back into it. Mm-hmm. I was coming off the Royal Rumble all excited, and then they didn't even have him on TV after the Royal Rumble win the week after. So it's like, okay, whatever. And the whole thing with the Elimination Chamber getting the number 1 contender, okay, you don't need to have a pay-per-view to do that. You can it doesn't need to be in the Elimination Chamber either. Okay, they used to do battle royals and 6 men to become the number 1 contender for the other for the Otherworld title back in the day
Mm-hmm.
on Raw. Okay, so I say get rid of the in-between pay-per-views between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania because they really don't matter and they break up the flow of the feuds that you're trying to accomplish going into WrestleMania. Shinsuke versus AJ should have been at a fever pitch by now, and I'm not feeling it because of what they did with this pay-per-view.
I'm sure that having a whole other pay-per-view a month before the biggest show of the year makes sense to some bean counter somewhere in Titan Towers or whatnot. But as far as from a fan standpoint, from a build standpoint, I would be just as concerned as you are if we didn't have a whole month ahead of just sheer build just for the biggest show of the year.
I'm hoping that they can pull me back in. Mm-hmm. Okay, but I think that 2 months of build for the biggest pay-per-view of the year would be better than 1. Especially when the 3 weeks between the Royal Rumble and the Fastlane pay-per-view were as shitty as they were.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, you've already heard what we have to say. So now it's time for us to tag you into the fold. The internet wrestling audience, the internet wrestling community, the smarks, the marks, whatever you want to call yourself, we want to hear it from you. So as always, leave us a comment anywhere on the internet. If you're joining us on YouTube, first of all, hi, how you doing? Nice to see you. That shirt looks great on you. Leave us a comment on our YouTube video.
How are we doing that? Skynet is real.
Skynet is real, kids. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell John Connor. Instead of telling John Connor, you know what you should do? Give us a thumbs up on this video. Subscribe if you want to hear more every single week. It's always a good time. Or you can also check us out on our Facebook page. Just run a search for the Scholars of Wrestling Show. You can find us there. Or if you'd like to hear live commentary every single major show that there is, you can do what we do and you can follow us on our Twitters. You can follow our main account at ScholarsOW. You can follow our fearless leader, Scholar Tarek, at
The Avatar.
Wow, I'm getting tired tonight. Brian, where can they reach you?
You can find me being my sarcastic douche Shelf at Shelf. Yeah, apparently I'm getting tired too.
We're all getting tired.
At Atomic Beanpole.
And you can track me down at I'm Robbie Rage, all one word. Join us for a good time. Hopefully you won't be too tired and the things you will say will be completely intelligible. But until that time happens, we need to get some sleep because you already know who we are. We are the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled. You're welcome. See you all next week.
Yeah!